Good morning, everyone. The time is 11:05, and I call this meeting to order. Mr. Saeed, can you please read the notice of the public meeting?
Chairwoman, this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission's 2024 annual meeting schedule. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the Senator Byron M. Baer Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of the meeting was provided to the Asbury Park Press, Bergen Record, Courier Post, Star Ledger, and the Trenton Times on December 12, 2023. The agenda and information regarding the virtual nature of the meeting was also posted on the CRC website. The meeting time and location has also been posted on the website of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission and with the Office of the Secretary of the State.
Thank you. Can you please take roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Barker,
Present.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Present.
Commissioner Nash,
Present.
Vice Chair Delgado is absent. Chairwoman Wainu,
Present.
we now have a quorum. The first order of business is for the Commission to go into executive session to discuss legal matters and litigation updates. These are discussions that are not shared with the public. We believe the executive session should take about 30 minutes.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we go into executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Barker, seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Is there any discussion on this motion to go into executive session? Hearing none. All those in favor of going into executive session say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes. As Mr. Saeed mentioned, we expect the executive session to last approximately 30 minutes. We will leave the live stream rolling during that time. So we can expect the public session to resume at about 11:37. Good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for your patience, everyone. The time is 12:38 and we will resume the public portion of this meeting. Apologies for the executive session going a little long. As we do, we try to anticipate the time it takes to thoroughly discuss anything that we need to discuss in executive session. Sometimes we underestimate that time that's needed, but we try to give our best estimated time for folks. Mr. Saeed, can you please announce the next agenda item?
Next up on the agenda is approving the minutes of both the Commission's open and executive sessions held on December 7th. The minutes have been shared with the members of the Commission prior to this meeting.
Thank you. I believe there was one request to make a slight change or slight correction to the meeting minutes for executive session. Council Riggs, I just want to confirm whether that correction has been made.
Yes, Madam Chair, that correction was made.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other corrections or changes needed? If none, I will ask for a motion.
So moved, Madam Chair. Second.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso moves to adopt the meeting minutes for the last public meeting, seconded by Commissioner Nash. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting the meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes.
Next item on the agenda is the chair's report.
Today's chair's report is going to be very, very brief. Happy New Year to everyone. At the end of 2023, I shared a brief recap of some of the work that we had accomplished in that year. And in 2024, we'll continue to build on our successes thus far. Chiefly, we'll look to increase transparency and accountability, as these are vital to the successful implementation of the NJCRC's rules and ultimately to realizing the vision for a cannabis industry that is safe and responsible. So more details, including the specific goals and projects, will be shared at the next board meeting. That is all that I have today for the chair's report.
Next item on the agenda is the executive director's report.
Director Brown, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Similarly, I'm going to keep my comments brief here, just provide a licensing update, overview of what's on the agenda, and preview some of the what may be coming in either February or March. And then, really want to save time mostly for our director of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, Wesley McWhite, who's going to provide our quarterly data update. So we'll move forward here. Next slide, please. So looking at licensing update, we now have just shy of 2,500 applications have been submitted to the CRC since we started accepting applications at the end of 2021. Of those, nearly 1,700 have been approved. We have about 160 applications still under review, mostly more recent submissions in the Office of Licensing. 311 applications pending resubmission following a cure. Those are applications that need to be amended before they can be resubmitted. And then there are currently 187 applications under review in the Office of Compliance and Investigations. Generally, with application timelines, we're just under 90 days for conditionals, and probably about 6 months for annuals and conversions when everything is all ready to go and ready to be moved forward. Next slide, please. We continue to see a lot of new openings, and I love the extent of this list. New recreational only dispensaries opening all over the state. We eclipsed 90 dispensaries in total between medicinal and recreational, and we're now covering 20 out of 21 counties in the state of New Jersey. And this is a list of a lot of the openings. One of the things that we're going to see in 2024 here is a lot more openings from cultivators, manufacturers. These are companies that take longer to get open just because of the complexity of the construction and business. We already have several that have opened up and are supplying the market. Others are open and will be supplying the market soon. And I anticipate a lot more being licensed this year. So overall, we've approved over 1,300 conditionals, 233 conditional to annual conversions, 141 annuals, and 71 expanded ATCs. So that's in total just shy of 1,800 licenses awarded or issued. Obviously, the vast majority of those are conditionals, but you can see those numbers continuing to go up for the operating licenses. Those are conditional to annuals, and expanded ATCs. And then last but not least, up for consideration today, 22 conditional applications, 36 conditional to annual conversion applications, 12 annual applications, and some expanded ATCs. And then next slide. Also going to be providing periodic updates on our medicinal program. We're now just under 90,000 patients registered with the program, over 5,000 caregivers, and 1,500 participating healthcare practitioners. At the end of 2023, we dropped all registration fees to $10, and then we do anticipate that a digital card will be released in the near future, which will be free to anyone who wishes to sign up. Next slide. And last but not least for me, I want to make sure that everybody knows to use the Find a Licensed Dispensary function on the NJCRC's website. It's linked right on the menu bar. This is a great resource, and shout out to our communications team and Office of Information Technology for helping to put this together. Depending whether you're recreational, medicinal, a consumer, this gives you every licensed dispensary, where they're located, and it can help you find licensed, legal, safe, regulated cannabis in your community. And with that, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to turn it over to Director McWhite to run through our quarterly data report.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, to the board, and really all of you that are watching. Really excited to be with you all to share some really promising and exciting data. Before we get started, I want to thank our Director of Data, Lynn, LT, I'm going to start calling him, for the tremendous work he does pouring himself into these numbers. It's just really appreciated, and he has a great passion for doing this. Also want to thank our compliance investigations team and also our licensing team, just making sure that folks are getting across the finish line and then getting operational. So we're going to go over a few things today. We're going to go over awardee application data, as we do previously, as we've done at previous readouts, municipal awardee license distribution, quarterly data benchmarks, and a new set of slides will be information about operational businesses. And so as you look at these numbers, just keep in mind that these are human beings. These are individuals who have a dream of opening up a cannabis business, and we're going to continue to do everything that we can to get people up and running and expand this industry as quickly as possible. Almost said next slide, and I am doing the slide. So first up, awardee application data. So as you can see so far, as Jeff was saying earlier, we're seeing a large amount of cultivators and manufacturers so far that are approved annual and approved conversion to annual. As always, we're going to see a large number of retailers looking to get into this space. With a total of 1,600, over 16, almost 1,700 approved annuals, approved conversion to annuals, and approved conditionals. We're pleased to see this large number of approved cultivators and manufacturers, because many are diversely owned, and they will be the cornerstone that improves the quantity and variety of cannabis products in our market. We're also encouraged by the number of retailers that you see. That will eventually see more diversity and availability of product on those shelves across the state as well. Love this slide. This is my favorite. So far, we have approved 374 license awardees that are social equity and diversely owned businesses. These include conditional to annual conversions. As last quarter, quarter three, there were 49 social equity businesses awarded, and we now have 65. And then last quarter, we had 109 newly awarded diversely owned businesses since last quarter. And so you can see we're going from 109 to 266, and we continue to see a rise in our social equity businesses and diversely owned businesses, with more in the queue. Key population data. Our rate of submission to rates of approval remain at pace. Applicants are making it through the process successfully, and CRC staff are continuously working diligently to make sure that we keep this up, and doing everything in our power to ensure that business owners make it smoothly through our process. Annual awards by social equity status. So 4 social equity awardees have been approved. I'm sorry. Yes, 3 have been approved social equity as of last quarter. 62, I'm sorry, have been approved a conversion to annual, and 343 have been approved conditional. We continue to see an uptick in the number of awarded social equity businesses, and so we want to continue to see that go up again next quarter for individuals that are filling out or completing their conversion application, and seeing a continual dip in the number of approved conditionals, because it's an indication to us that folks are submitting their conversions to annuals. Majority owners with prior marijuana convictions. Here we go. I had my slides mixed up. So previously, there were 31 approved conversion to annuals for folks who are have prior marijuana convictions. So it's gone from 31 to 48 for annuals so far, and that 246 was a lot lower than it is here on the slide. Diversity owned business awardees. We also see a steady incline in the number of approved annuals and approved conversion to annuals and approved conditionals, which is letting us know that diversity owned businesses are still choosing to go through our conditional track, where you don't need annual approval just yet and you don't need site control, which is a really good sign that the industry is taking advantage of some of those social equity rules that are baked into just the lifeblood of our agency. So last quarter, quarter three, we had 62 approved annuals that were diversely owned. As you can see here, that is uptick to 95 as of quarter four. Quarter three, we had 95 approved conversion to annuals that are diversely owned businesses. We now have 169. And then we have gone from 888 to 954, as I was saying earlier, an indication that new conditionals are applying for licensure. Impact zone businesses, another great sign that impact zone businesses, another priority designation, is making it all the way through our process. Same as social equity businesses and diversity owned businesses, we continue to see a steady incline with the number of impact zone businesses making it through. Quarter three, there were 42 annual approved, 63 approved conversions to annual. Here we have 107. And then last quarter, we've gone from 506 to 553 approved conditionals. These are one of Vice Chair Sam Delgado's favorites. I hope he's watching. And annual license awardees distribution by county. And as always, we want to continue to monitor where these businesses are looking to set up shop. And so right at the top, leading the pack for these folks are Burlington, Atlantic, and Camden County. Shout out to South Jersey. And we are continue to see retailers leading across the board in all counties, which is natural, and encouraged to see representation of all license classes across the board in certain counties, or all annual license awardees across the board in certain counties. And those counties stand a better opportunity to see more tax growth and revenue and cannabis tourism. You know, folks like to find the right dispensary, even if they have to travel for it. And conditional to annual conversions. I really like this slide. Leading the pack here is Atlantic, Essex, and Burlington County. So again, shout out to South Jersey and Essex County. We see more conversions than we do straight to annuals in counties, which indicates that the conditional to conversion route to licensure is still being embraced and understood and valued at the local level. The quarterly benchmark data, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. We are still surpassing our statutory benchmarks. So far, well, I do want to start with approved licensed persons of Hispanic or Latino of any race. Last quarter, quarter three, we saw 24 approved annuals. That is upticked in just one quarter to 40. Quarter three of last year, we saw 48 approved conversion to annuals for persons of Hispanic or Latino descent. That is now 69. And then last quarter, again, we saw 361. That is upticked to 399 with some individuals that have applied for their conversion so far. So our Hispanic population is continuing to see a steady pace in their participation and awardees as well. Diversely owned benchmarks, one of my favorite slides. We are at 46% minority owned and 46% women and disabled veteran owned, surpassing our 15% statutory benchmarks by over 30%. Also very important for us to factor in diversity certifications through the Department of Treasury with expanded ATCs. And so as you can see here, There are 5 expanded ATCs that are minority and women business owned, and 3 that are women business owned. And in this next slide, you'll see if you factor in those expanded ATCs, we're going to continue to monitor this. We are still surpassing our benchmarks by at 20% and over 20%. When you reconcile race and or ethnicity for annual awardees, this is a breakdown of where we are so far. Quarter 3, 49 were majority Asian owned, 41 were Black owned in quarter 3, that has gone up to 67, and then 22 were Hispanic or Latino owned, and that has gone up to 35. We are still surpassing Asian and Black New Jersey census populations. We still have some more work to do with our Hispanic population and our outreach efforts there. And we are also surpassing and meeting federal ownership, census ownership across the country for both Black and Asian owned businesses across multiple industries. And this is just a graph. Lynn loves his graphs. It's a graph of the previous slide. So here we go. The meat and potatoes. Who is open thus far? So thus far, we have 59 open businesses, operational businesses. So that's 17 women business enterprises, 12 minority business enterprises, 9 minority and women business enterprises, and then 1 disabled veteran-owned business. So here you can see broken down by race and ethnicity, something that we know that the board was interested in seeing. We did some preliminary outreach just this past week to understand why some of these businesses are not operational just yet. And so immediately following this meeting in the coming days and weeks, we're going to do some more fact finding around some of the issues that folks are running into at the local level, or that mostly that are external to the CRC. So far what we are hearing, particularly from majority-owned Black businesses, Asian and Hispanic-owned businesses, and disabled veteran-owned businesses, we are seeing that they are running into local planning and zoning board issues, administrative turnover at the local level, funding and keeping their businesses, keeping their investors educated about the changes in market and the pace of when they are able to open. Property shortage across the state, making sure that an available property that is suitable for that business is available in that county has been particularly difficult for some applicants. Rising construction costs due to inflation has tripped some folks up. And then lastly, yes, even cannabis stigma still is a problem or a hiccup that some folks are dealing with at the local level. And so we want to continue to work diligently to reach out to individuals who have been awarded a license who are not yet operational. We want to continue to remind individuals that have been awarded that are running up against their 1-year operational deadline that you can fill out an extension request as soon as you can. If you even think that you're going to miss that deadline, you should communicate with the CRC as soon as you have enough information to provide to us. We want to continue to remind folks to email us at crc.info@crc.nj.gov, where we are responding to hundreds of emails a week and processing those emails and getting people the information that they need to make the right decisions for themselves a part of this process. And so while people juggle these external barriers like financing, municipal approval, local zoning, and yes, even cannabis stigma still, hiccups still happen through the CRC process. And so we're still finding that some awardees are not understanding the full process from start to finish. So for example, filling out the necessary forms and paperwork, staying in constant communication with your compliance officer and responding to emails and phone calls, making sure that you're responding to any cure letters, making sure that the contact information, the primary contact information that is in your application portal is up to date. If you change the phone number, if you want someone else to handle that part on your team to handle that part for you, please, please, please make sure that all of that information is correct and that your email is spelled correctly as well. So you can find all of the information about our full process as always in our rules and on our website. If you're unsure, again, please email us at crc.info@crc.nj.gov. And please don't forget to complete your extension request if you know that your deadline is going to fall. You're going to run up against your deadline in trying to get operational. And lastly, we have a breakdown of where these licenses are, what type of class licenses are. We have 5 open cultivators and 4 manufacturers. And as we saw, many, many more to come and much more variety and quality of product entering into our market soon. Many class 5 retailers that are open and testing laboratories as well. 38% of these businesses are impact zone businesses, statutory counties and zip codes that have been identified as impacted by the war on drugs. 11% are owned by individuals with previous marijuana convictions. 15% are social equity business, and 67% of our annual awardees so far are diversely owned businesses. And so again, just in closing, we want to continue to work with individuals, not just at the application process, but all the way through the process until they become operational. And just before I turn this back over to Executive Director Brown and the chair, the phone calls that I've made personally to individuals who are not yet operational encouraged me. I want to let you all know to continue to keep working at it. I hear your determination, I hear your resolve and your excitement, and we are excited too, and we'll continue to do everything that we can to get you operational. And that is it for me, and I'm turning it back over to you all.
Thank you, Director McWhite. Great work by the ODI. Director Brown, is there anything?
Yeah, thank you, Director McWhite. I just did want to note on the operational business slides that those are new recreational only awardees. Our ATC data is mostly on a legacy system. And so, we'll have ATCs included on all this soon. But until we get them fully into our licensing system, some of the data we pull is not comprehensive, but great work, Director McWhite. Really appreciate what you and your office do, particularly around outreach, and really appreciate that you all are turning a focus to the awardees and trying to figure out what the barriers are and helping them to get operational, because that's critical. And thankfully, we have some good state partners to help us with that now, with Business Action Center and NJEDA. So with that, back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Director Brown. And again, great work by the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Thank you for the detailed update on the data. Before we move on to the next agenda item, I forgot to mention when we resumed the public session that there is a slight change to the agenda. So when it comes to our adult use cannabis business applications for the expanded ATC certifications, there is one business that is being consideration of their application is being postponed. That is Harmony Foundation. The board is going to be waiting to get some additional information from staff that they're diligently working on. So that item is going to be postponed and be considered at the next regular board meeting of the commission. But that is the only agenda change that we have today. Mr. Saeed, can you please announce the next
Madam Chair,
item?
can we just have brief comments on the data that was shared?
Oh, sure. Commissioner Barker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just thank you, Executive Director Brown. Thank you, Director McWhite, LT and the group. Thank you, everybody. Definitely something that we as a board have been asking for. And so to receive this data, especially this voluminous, definitely going to go through it, may follow up more in depth over the next few days and weeks before the next meeting. But what I do want to ask just preliminarily, if we can continue to really break down the data. Some of the slides are very specific to majority Black, Indigenous, and Hispanic ownership. And I'll be happy to relay this in the email, but if we can continue to unpack specifically like social equity businesses, previous marijuana convictions, diversity owned businesses, can we start to unpack those to see what the majority Black, majority Hispanic, majority Indigenous ownership is? I think that would help also paint the picture of what the New Jersey cannabis industry looks like. Motivated by the operational business license under CREAM slide. I mean, I think that definitely shows that we got to continue to increase the number of Black and Hispanic and Indigenous cannabis businesses in the industry. And I'll just say, you know, even right now, we're in a new month in 2024. We're a few years into this. You know, I believe the proposed annuals, we may have one majority Black owned business being proposed to us today. And so we definitely need to understand this data. We definitely need to see it more. I'm encouraged and motivated and ecstatic that we're blowing our statutory requirements out the water, but the statutory requirements don't necessarily paint the picture of whether Black and Indigenous and Hispanic people, those most harmed that we're trying to prioritize, if they're getting in the game and if they're receiving licenses and awards. And so definitely encouraged by the information, but I'm going to ask that we continue to layer in the specific representation of majority Black, majority Indigenous, and majority Hispanic ownership. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Barker. Director Brown, do you care to respond to the request?
No, I was just gonna say, you know, we've been doing so and we'll continue to do so.
Thank you, Director Brown.
Yep.
Thank you. And thank you, Commissioner Barker, for your acknowledgement. You know, I think it is important for us to remember that analysis of this data helps us assess whether or not the regulations and the processes that we're putting in place are working and achieving the goals that we have set out for ourselves. So we'll continue to see how we can best interpret the data that we've gotten. Are there any other questions from the board for Director Brown?
Madam Chair, it's more of a comment. I would
Yes.
like to, thank the staff for all of their hard work putting this report together. We've been asking for this information, so thank you for being very transparent about the numbers and, painting a good picture of where we are in terms of who's gotten a license and those priorities that we have in place. So thank you again for that information. Thank you, Wesley, for your report. I did see and notice that majority owned Latino numbers were 15%, and Black and African American was 7%. I know we have a lot of work to do, and those are great numbers, but I think we can definitely, once we see more of those businesses become operational, hopefully, knocking on wood, that those numbers will increase. And again, for the record, Wesley, if you need anything from the commission, I think a lot of us have a lot of grassroots connections and also the expertise to communicate with, Latino community or a Black community. We're happy to help you in any way that we can. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Del Cid. Anything else for Director Brown? All right, hearing none. Mr. Saeed, please announce the next agenda item.
Next item on the agenda are publications to the New Jersey Register.
Thank you. Here we have one item for publication in the New Jersey's Register, and that is rule adoption. So I will turn it over to Director Brown and Chief Counsel Riggs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And, really exciting that we have this rule adoption on consumption lounges. I think it adheres to both of our core values of safety and equity. And I'm going to pass it over to Chief Counsel Chris Riggs to kind of walk through what's in it. And so take it away, Chris.
Thank you, Executive Director Brown and Chairwoman Waino. The good news is that I'm going to be brief because there aren't many changes from the proposal that we filed and that was approved by the board that was published in the Register in January of 23. These new consumption area rules allow for the operation of the consumption area at a Class 5 retailer. It must be attached to that retail space. It requires both CRC approval and municipal approval. There's the operation of one cannabis consumption area for each entity, regardless of the number of Class 5 retailers that they have open or dispensary ATC permits. You cannot sell any tobacco products or alcohol or food at these consumption areas, but remember that food can be delivered or you can bring food with you as a consumer to the consumption area if the business allows so. Patrons must be 21 years or older to enter the consumption area, and medicinal patients are allowed to bring in their own cannabis items so long as they're purchased from legal dispensaries or legal ATCs in the state of New Jersey. Next slide, please. The fees associated with the cannabis consumption areas, lower fees for the micro businesses, $1,000 for the initial fee and the renewal. Standard businesses for their initial fee and renewal will pay $5,000. These consumption area endorsements are valid for 1 year. As far as the rule adoption document goes, we had approximately 230 commenters on the rule proposal. We've responded to all the comments. These comments are in the adoption document that you've received. We will be filing this rule adoption document with the Office of Administrative Law today on January 17th of 24, soon after this meeting, assuming that it's approved by the board. That will set us up for a publication date in the Register of February 20th of 24. That's February 20th of this year. That's when it will be published in the Register and when the rules will become effective. And, this is an endorsement, so there'll be more to come from the CRC to show Class 5 retailers how they can submit an application to receive an endorsement for a consumption area. So stay tuned for that information. And at this point, I'm recommending that the board approves the rule adoption document for cannabis consumption areas. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And Madam Chair, just one piece here. I just wanted to reiterate our Chief Counsel's last point. So if approved, they have to go into the Register. And once they're in the New Jersey Register, then the rules will be effective. And then we will be releasing information on how to apply for a consumption area. So that's another piece that will have to happen before folks can start to actually submit applications for consumption areas. So a couple more steps that need to happen here, but this is a big, big milestone and great job to our legal team who worked to help draft these, commissioners who provided feedback. I concur, recommend these get approved.
Thank you, Director Brown, and thank you, Chief Counsel Riggs. Quick question regarding Director Brown, what you just shared about next steps. I just want to clarify the next step. If this item is approved, the next step would be for issuance of or updating the notice of application acceptance for applications for this endorsement. Is that correct? Okay, nodding your head. Yes. Okay, great.
That is correct. Yeah, and potentially via addendum, but yeah, that's the vehicle that would announce the the process for accepting applications.
Okay, great. Thank you. Are there any other questions from board members?
Just a brief thought for consideration, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Barker, go ahead.
I just want to humbly ask all of my fellow board members, my team, my family, to strongly consider an exclusivity period for social equity businesses, for diversity owned businesses, specifically the retailers that are going to be looking to obtain cannabis consumption area endorsement. It's critical. It's a critical component to establishing and maintaining equity and leveling the playing field. And I do know other states and municipalities have implemented exclusivity periods in the name of social justice. And so I think it's at least appropriate that we consider. So I know you mentioned the notice of application acceptance, and I think it may be more appropriate for that, but I did just want to highlight that and get ahead of it as we continue to move this forward. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Barker. And yes, that is certainly a consideration for us when we get to the notice of application acceptance. So your proposal or your suggestion for us to consider an exclusivity period for certain businesses is certainly taken under advisement and will be addressed when we get to the notice of application acceptance phase.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
If there are no additional questions for Director Brown and Council Riggs, I'll ask for a motion on this matter.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the proposed rules for cannabis consumption areas.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who was that? Is that Commissioner Del Cid?
Second. Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Coso to approve the final rule adoption for cannabis consumption areas. Is there any discussion on this motion to approve the rules? Hearing none, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu,
Yes.
the motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the consideration of applications for name changes.
Thank you. Director Brown, I'll turn it over to you for a summary of the permit and license change requests.
We have two name change requests, one from Yuma Way, New Jersey to Garfield Gardens Dispensary LLC, and one from Cannabis NJ. And you can go to the next slide. They're listed on here. Cannabis NJ LLC to Green Oasis Dispensary NJ LLC. Both have, submitted the relevant documentation, filed with DOORS, filed with the Secretary of State, and so both are recommended for approval.
Thank you, Director Brown. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, move to adopt this resolution concerning the adoption of approval applications to change the business name of adult use license awardees.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Del Cid Coso to adopt the resolution, seconded by Commissioner Nash. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes. Next item for consideration are the adult use cannabis business conditional license applications.
Thank you. Director Brown, I will turn it back over to you to provide a summary of the conditional license applications received.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm going to, for all the license applications, just run through the overall process at the outset, and then run through the numbers for each specific application type. So when we receive a license application, it's assigned a priority based on what type of application it is, with social equity business being highest, and an application that has no priority designation being lowest. Diversely owned business is the second, then impacts owned business, then bonus points. That priority is verified. Our staff then conducts completeness review to make sure everything's there in the application. They are then scored. Applications that score sufficiently high move forward to, in the case of, all applications move forward to a review of qualification limitations and financial and management services agreement review. Then for conditional conversion and annual applications, they undergo a full qualification review. So that's a criminal history background check, financial investigations. Conditionals do not undergo that until they apply for a conversion. Our staff conducts quality control, and then we make a recommendation to the board. And so all the applications that are recommended for approval here have gone through that whole process and are recommended for approval. We'll start with 22 conditional licenses applications broken down as noted on the slide there. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board regarding the information provided by Director Brown? Hearing none, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the adult use conditional applications.
Moved by Commissioner Barker. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Nash. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes. Next item for consideration are the adult use cannabis business conversion license applications.
Thank you. Director Brown, back over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Here we have 36 conversion applications that have gone through the full process and are recommended for approval by the CRC board.
Thank you. And we have the list of, there we are. Thank you. Are there any questions from the board regarding information provided for these applications? Hearing none, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the resolution for conversion application, AU conversion applications.
Moved by Commissioner Nash to approve the applications. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Abstain.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes. Next item for consideration are the adult use cannabis business annual license applications.
Thank you. Director Brown. Over to
Thank you,
you.
Madam Chair. Here we have, I believe, 11. Go to the next slide, please. 12 annual license applications. They've all gone through the process that I outlined at the beginning of the license application section and are recommended for approval today by the CRC board.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board regarding the annual license applications? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the adult use annual license applications.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Is there any discussion on this motion?
Brief discussion, brief matter, point of discussion. I just want to the businesses on this list that truly represent equity and are represent the war on drugs. Thank you. And I hope that all of you are great actors in our industry.
Thank you, Commissioner Barker. Is there any other discussion on this motion? Hearing no further discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes. Next item for consideration are the expanded ATC certifications.
All right, and here again, we have one expanded ATC certification that is being postponed until we can get some additional information from staff, and that'll just be considered at the next regular meeting of the board. But with respect to the one remaining expanded ATC certification, Director Brown, I'll turn it to you to provide a summary.
Thank you. So this is for Sanctuary Cannabis LLC. The expanded ATCs need to submit a number of certifications to the CRC. One, that they have adequate supply, adequate operational capacity to serve patients and AU consumers, municipal approval, and some other information. We look at their ability to continue to service the medical market and their plans going forward. And Sanctuary Cannabis has met all those statutory requirements and regulatory requirements, and therefore is recommended for approval here for expansion into the adult use market.
Thank you. Is there any, are there any questions from the board regarding the information provided by Director Brown, specifically with respect to a Sanctuary Cannabis LLC, as that is the only item currently up for consideration? All right, hearing no questions from the board, is there a motion with respect to Sanctuary Cannabis LLC?
Madam Chair, I move to accept the certification of Sanctuary Cannabis to expand operations to a use cannabis market.
Moved by Commissioner Nash to accept the certification. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Is there any discussion on this motion with respect to Sanctuary Cannabis LLC? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Abstain.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes. Next item for consideration is the consideration of annual license renewals. Sorry.
Yes, we do not have any annual license renewals, but I believe we've got cases, claims, and petitions for the ATC identification cards.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So with that, I will turn it over to Director Brown for any information on the ATC identification cards.
And I'm going to pass it. Thank you, Madam Chair. Pass it over to Chief Counsel Riggs.
Thank you, Director Brown and Chairwoman Waynu. Similar to the last meeting, we have employees, ATC employees that have followed the process to get background checked and fingerprinted. And through that process, it was uncovered that they had a disqualifying conviction. They were notified and have requested that they be considered rehabilitated under the statute and the accompanying regulations. There are 5 employees. They have all challenged. They have the ability to challenge the accuracy of their conviction and submit information to show that they were rehabilitated. All of them have submitted sufficient information to meet the standard under the statute and accompanying regulations, and therefore staff is recommending that all 5 of these employees be considered rehabilitated. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Council Riggs. Are there any questions from the board for Council Riggs or Director Brown? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the request for determination of rehabilitation by ATC employees.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Barker, seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Coso to approve the request for rehabilitation. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Saeed, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the open public comment period.
Thank you. As we begin the open public comment period, I want to remind members of the public that they can submit their comments to the commission during or after this board meeting by going to our website, nj.gov/cannabis/meetings, and submitting written comments. The deadline for providing written comments for today's, in response to today's meeting, is 5 o'clock tomorrow, Thursday, January 18th. Written comments will be shared with commission members and will be made public. Speakers today will be limited to 3 minutes each. And so staff, I believe it's either Mr. Saeed or Mr. Director McWhite will call out the names of those individuals who have registered to speak. When you hear your name called, I believe raising your hand in the Zoom feature will help our staff identify you and unmute you. Believe we don't have anyone joining us by phone, so great. If you hear your name called, but your name does not appear on Zoom as the name you registered to speak, then we are going to be limited in being able to confirm that it is indeed you who wishes to provide some comments. So take a moment if you can to make sure that your name as it appears on Zoom is correct and is the same name that you used to register to speak. I see we have several people joining us with just their first names. And so those individuals are going to be hard for us to identify if you are a registered speaker. So if that is the case, if that's you, take a moment to log out of Zoom, come back in. That should prompt you to confirm your name and your email address. If you're working with an older version of Zoom, this feature might not work very well for you, but even if that is the case, you can always submit written comments to us at the commission by going to our website before tomorrow, 5 o'clock tomorrow. With that, Mr. Saeed and Director McWhite, you can call out the names of our first speakers.
Thank you, Chairwoman. As a reminder, public speakers during this afternoon's public comment period will be limited to 3 minutes. Please be respectful and concise during your comments. I'm going to call out the names. If you hear your name called, please raise your hand so that we're able to find you and unmute you. John de los Santos, Martha Figaro, and Sarah Aarons. Okay. I think Martha, you can go.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Mata Figaro. I am the CEO of Canpowerment Contract Manufacturing and also of Butter Cake, an edibles brand. And honestly, I really I didn't want to be the person that had to come up here and air my grievances publicly. There have been so many times in which I've tried to reach out to you guys so we could have private conversations. Emails have been sent, things of that nature. And it's just been a really difficult process trying to put product on shelves and be someone that can show everybody that it is possible to be a legacy operator that's come from the unregulated market and successfully landed into New Jersey's regulated market. But at this rate, while I would love to be, somebody that's here to provide accolades, I'm really more frustrated with how the clerical side of things are going. For product approvals to be taking over 100 days is pretty. It's astounding to me, honestly. And I really just hope that we could have a conversation in private so that I could go into the details of what it is that is truly making this process even more difficult than it's already been. I've done everything in my power to adhere to every single rule that you've put in front of me. I applied through the conditional process, got it all in. I never needed an extension. I never had problems raising the little bit of money that I needed to get this done. And I just feel like every single week you guys are saying the same things over and over again when I am literally here proving that this can be done. And so with a little bit of assistance and honestly, just some courtesy and timely fashion, answering emails and stuff like that would make this that much easier and would honestly be able to allow all of my retail partners that you guys are, giving licenses to so quickly, it would allow them to also better capitalize on this opportunity. So I'm just hoping that you guys could fix some of the administrative and clerical issues, timely issues that you have to help this process move forward. And I would love to be able to have a conversation in private regarding these matters. Thank you.
I see Sarah Aaron, so I'm going to allow you to. Okay.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to address you today. I'm Sarah Aarons. I'm the founder and CEO of True Labs for Cannabis, and I come before you as the chair of the New Jersey Cannabis Association's Laboratory Testing Committee. We're a group of scientists and laboratory testing professionals, most of whom have master's or PhD degrees in natural sciences with over 100 years of combined cannabis experience. We advocate and serve as a resource for the enhancement of cannabis testing standards, scientific integrity, and safety for cannabis consumers in the state of New Jersey. First, we applaud the commission staff and Executive Director Brown for the modification made last week to adjust the usable cannabis microbial test for total yeast and mold from a limit of 10,000 CFU per gram to a limit of 100,000 CFU per gram. This is a great first step towards appropriate testing standards for New Jersey. Second, we understand the commission is taking steps to move forward with the establishment of New Jersey's own comprehensive testing guidance for cannabis. We appreciate the movement forward on this testing guidance and the ability to serve as a scientific resource to the commission. And we're eagerly anticipating New Jersey's own standards for a safe and effective marketplace. And last but not least, we again draw your attention to one of the largest problems in cannabis markets: questionable laboratory practices and data spurred by lab shopping. This issue is wreaking havoc on legal markets in the US. New Jersey's not immune to this problem, and it is posing a serious threat to the integrity of the cannabis industry in our state. Without trusted and accurate testing data, how will the CRC be able to stand behind the Buy Legal, It's Safe campaign? How will the legal market pull more consumers away from the illicit market? We must address this issue with effective lab governance to create a transparent and accountable system. The efficacy of this governance will make or break our market. The commission should explore measures to enhance monitoring, reporting, and auditing processes within testing laboratories to ensure the reliability and accuracy of the data generated. Our laboratory testing committee worked diligently on a set of recommendations for a robust lab governance program. We pulled best practices from cannabis markets across the country and have outlined a comprehensive plan that can be implemented swiftly to address the current gaps in the system. By taking immediate action on these recommendations, the CRC can demonstrate its commitment to upholding the highest standards in cannabis testing, ensure patient and consumer safety, and ensure the long-term success of the regulated market in New Jersey. So in conclusion, we at the Laboratory Testing Committee urge the Commission to continue to focus on the establishment of New Jersey's own testing guidance and to address questionable laboratory data through the implementation of an effective lab governance program without delay. The citizens of New Jersey deserve a well-governed and safe cannabis industry, and your leadership is pivotal in achieving this goal. Thank you for your time and dedication to the betterment of our community.
The next three on the list are Andrea Rabel, Margarita Tsalyuk, and Trina Ragsdale.
Hello.
Okay. Hi.
My name is Andrea Rabel. I'm a medical patient in this state. I have epilepsy and permanent and progressive brain damage. I've been off all pharmaceuticals for roughly 6 years. Cannabis is my only option, and it's helped me avoid catastrophic brain surgery so far. But I would like to address how difficult it is to survive as a patient in this state. The J. Koenig Compassionate Use Medical Cannabis Act was passed in 2019. It accomplished a variety of things, but it was also supposed to provide for institutional caregivers. There's supposed to be a dedicated employee at every hospital and hospice capable of everything from obtaining to administering cannabis medicine. Yet patients are still forced to choose between medical supervision and their medicine itself. People are still dying without this support and access 5 years later. It's cruel and it can be deadly to deny this for patients like me. Every seizure can be fatal, yet hospitals deny my epilepsy medicine. I have strain-specific, non-combustible formulations that can stop an active seizure. Yet if I were to be admitted, they would have no choice but to watch me remain in a status seizure until I expire. It's tragic and unacceptable that half a decade after passing legislation, there's no relief. It's disheartening and quite frankly alarming, the lack of urgency and education demonstrated by the CRC in regards to patient needs compared to financial interests. The members of the CRC are spread too thin, regulating too many areas, making it impossible to keep up on current research. I implore you to listen to the Lab Testing Committee who spoke earlier, and please instate a scientific advisor in the CRC. You need specific scientific support to understand how crucial minor differences can be for patients. Finding the right strain and formulation for a critically ill patient is as unique as their fingerprint, but patients have no support in institutions and no stable options at home. Until testing improves, dispensary medications are questionable, and specific medical strains are often unpopular commercially. They have low yield, longer harvest times, and are as rare as the disorders we're treating. They sometimes require multi-generation custom breeding projects. It's not currently the responsibility of ATCs and dispensaries, and nor should they be responsible to sacrifice the greater good to serve select individuals. But at the same time, it's inhumane to deny patients the medicine they need based on a popularity contest or profit margins. I understand it's outside of the jurisdiction of the CRC, but I beg members, and especially industry members listening, to personally speak up to legislation for homegrown now. Homegrown can be a life-saving intervention for these injustices, and it can help buy time for patients like me while we wait for programs like the institutional caregivers to finally be addressed. I beg the CRC to listen to scientific and medical advice, and please prioritize protecting and providing for patients. Thank you for your time.
Next on the list, I see Rita, Margarita Tsalyuk. Rita, if that's you, can you please change your name? Or Rita, if you're able to, please log off and change your name to the full name that you registered with, and then we can log back in. In the meantime, I'm going to go with Trina Ragsdale, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the board. My name is Trina Ragsdale. I am the founder and CEO of Change Joint Dispensary, I want to thank the CRC for your commitment to ensuring equitable opportunities for diverse businesses to enter the market. We all understand that there is still work to be done, but thanks to the responsiveness of the CRC, the clearly outlined process, along with my own education and acumen, as a 2-time cancer survivor, full-time employed single mother of 2, I have independently been able to successfully navigate the path to licensure. That said, my doors are not yet open, but I'm steps closer, and seeing the successes of my Canna colleagues, attending their grand openings, and seeing consumers get access to care is encouraging. I'm ecstatic James Joint was approved to move to annual license today. Huge thanks to the board. As a Black woman with nothing but passion for education, a desire for others to have the same privilege of access to medicinal alternatives, and with the inspiration from my brilliantly ambitious twins, anything is possible. Thank you again for the time today. Thank you again to the board. I appreciate being able to move through the process. Thanks again.
The next 3 on the list are Dab Riga, Jeremy Watson, and Una Sun. If you're in the meeting, please raise your hands. Okay, I see Jeremy Watson.
Hello, how you doing today? My name is Jeremy Watson. I'm actually a person that has been affected by the war on drugs. I have a criminal past, and I'm having a hard time navigating into the legal industry. As just trying to find a job, I've only interviewed with one dispensary, and their main issue was a background check. And that's kind of baffling to me because that defeats the purpose. And they were very concerned that I wouldn't be able to pass a background check. And I would think that was that's the whole point of the commission saying that that it was an opportunity for people that was most affected by the war on drugs, that they would be businesses would be encouraging people with criminal past to try to join their workforce. But I live in New Brunswick, New Jersey, where there are 2 dispensaries open at the time, and I don't recognize any of the people that work there, and they don't. And I'm, as far as I know, there's no one there that actually has a criminal background. I've applied for several different dispensaries, and the only dispensary that I was able to have an interview with was A21, and that was on the strength of another speaker that spoke at the beginning, and that was because of my relationship with Martha Figueroa. That was the only reason why I was able to get into an interview with a dispensary. And also from a business owner point of view, there's no straightforward pathway for or programs for people with a criminal past to directly lead them into the legal market. I feel like there should be some type of programs to join, to connect businesses that are already in the market with legacy operators. I feel like there's not enough going on that, and it's being talked about, it's being said, but there's no straightforward pathway. And like I said, on the other angle, it's hard to even get employed with a criminal background if you have a serious criminal background. I have distribution charges, and it's different with distribution because the limits for distribution are only an ounce or less to get automatically expunged, and I have more than that. So I've been having extreme difficulty entering the legal market because of my background. And that's all I have for the commission.
I see Margarita, she changed her name. So can we go with Margarita?
Hi, thank you guys for letting me speak. I appreciate the committee. Thank you so much. So I have a couple things that I wanted to comment on, and the biggest one that hurts us right now, we are expanded ATC, Garfield Gardens, and we have medical only hours. The reason we put them in because we were very passionate to serve medical patients and give them our first priority. But right now it's only 2 a day that's coming, but we closed for 2 hours and they're not necessarily coming during those 2 hours, but it's affecting all the adult use customers. And we just had recently one veteran came and he was recreational customer and we couldn't serve him and tell him to come back. So we have bad reviews and kind of feeling really bad about this. If there's any chance, please, I know you guys busy, but if you can please look into it and see if you can address it, we would really appreciate it because that will really help us to serve the community. And Google Business does not allow us to post separately for medical and for recreational. So people very, very confused. And then they come in and they see nobody and they're still not able to serve them. And when medical patients come in, we certainly serve them first. We have a dedicated register for them. We treat them very special. We have education for them, but all of that, just please, if you can do that, that would really appreciate, we'll really appreciate it. And I want to just comment quickly on a couple other things. One of them is consumption lounges. We are, as a company, Yuma Ways, that had the first licensed consumption lounge in the world. That's why if you're interested to read about us, you can search, you're gonna find like 30 pages about us. And we know pretty much everything about it. And the problem with giving it to social equity, there's just no money to it. And that's what City of Denver did. I encourage you to look into it because they said that moratorium, social equity only, but everybody who would open it, they would just go bankrupt. So it kind of feels bad for me to tell social equity people who have their last savings to invest in it when there's no money in it. And we still have our lounge and we're very proud of it, but it's not a moneymaker thing. This is our nonprofit initiative. So just keep it in mind, please, when you offer it to social equity. And if you need anything from us, please let us know. And one more comment, I think I'm counting days. It's probably going to be summer of this year, June, July, when we're going to have more cultivators in the state and then price is going to go down and it's become more affordable. So, because right now it's very hard to compete with illegal market and very hard that we have to put such a high prices on the product at the dispensary level, just not enough cultivation. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
The next three on the list, Ziggy Chow, Aaron Gore, and Savion Bryant. I see Ziggy Neal, but I don't know if it's the same person. If this person is Ziggy Chow, please log off and change your name to the name that you registered with so that we can call on you. So Aaron Gore.
Hello there today. My name is Erin Gore, and I am the founder and CEO of Garden Society NJ LLC, located in the city of Passaic. We are women-owned impact zone located Class 2 manufacturer. Commissioners, thank you for your approval today on our conversion license as a women-owned Class 2 manufacturer. We are thrilled to move forward with this final approval process with the CRC. I am here today to ask for your support to help ensure we move towards opening our doors as quickly as possible. It has taken us over 7 months from when we filed our conversion license in the portal to being approved here today. Our application had no cures and no concerns by any agent during the approval process, and it took far greater than the statutory 90 days. We are relieved to now be approved here today and ready to move forward. The City of Passaic and Mayor Laura have been tremendous advocates and supporters of our business. During this time, we have completed construction, completed all inspections with the City of Passaic, received all city approvals for zoning, construction, and cannabis use. As far as the city is concerned, we are ready to operate now. We have worked with the Workforce Development Board and received the support of 2 labor unions, the Teamsters and the United Food and Commercial Workers, with whom we have signed labor peace agreements. Through the Workforce Development Board and Economic Development Center in both the City of Passaic and County of Passaic, we have hosted a job fair and posted our positions for 13 roles. We have received over 110 qualified applicants, a truly overwhelming response. In addition, we have worked with the city and county of Passaic to receive grants for our employees we hire from the city that are impacted employees or on unemployment, which will cover 50% of their salaries if we can employ them in the next 60 days. Finally, as Garden Society NJ LLC, we have over $4 million in open purchase orders for our products by retailers and customers ready to purchase as soon as we are able to open and begin operations. If we cannot move forward towards opening timely, we will lose this business. I am begging, actually pleading for your support today. We are running out of financial resources if we cannot begin operations timely. Garden Society NJ is a women-founded, women-run business with our leadership team being half Black and veterans. This program was designed to help support individuals and companies like us. I'm here today to ask for your support as we move through the final compliance phases towards opening. And I would welcome any discussion from the CRC to help accelerate and ensure we can move forward in a timely manner. Thank you very much. You have a really hard job, and I appreciate all that you do for the industry. And I really appreciate your support to move forward.
Savion Bryant. Savion, you can speak.
What's going on, boss? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Savion Bryant from Jersey City, New Jersey. I'm currently a business owner in the state of New Jersey, and I was told by one of your associates, because my business has to do with vending machines, and I know that you guys don't regulate vending machines in the state of New Jersey as of now, so I was told by one of your associates to come to the board meeting, express my idea, or voice my opinion and my idea to try to get my business plan off the ground and the recreational cannabis industry. I have 1 to 2 concerns. I just wanted to know, why aren't vending machines considered to be retail if they're in the retail department? And my other question is, why would I need retail space for a vending machine? Because that's what I was told. They told I would need actual retail space just to put the vending machine in. But my question was, why would I need retail space for a vending machine if I can put that anywhere in like a shopping center or a pharmacy or any place of that nature that has to do with recreational cannabis and to the public as well? So I was just trying to get in contact with you guys so you guys can show some consideration as to helping me perform these difficult tasks that I'm trying to do all by myself, just to pick my business up off the floor. And I'm trying very, very hard, because all of this information that I'm going through and I'm obtaining, it's all by myself. I don't have any help. So I'm just reaching out to you guys to try to make my life and my process to improving my business a little bit easier in the cannabis industry. So I hope you guys find a way to help me obtain my retail license so I can get my business started. Thank you. That's just about it.
Thank you. I see Ziggy Chow changed his name. Can we go to him, please?
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm sorry. My Zoom was not operating.
It's okay. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Members of the New Jersey Cannabis Commission, thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. I'm writing to express my concerns as a resident and investor in Atlantic City regarding the recent surge in applications for adult use cannabis dispensaries. I appreciate the opportunity to submit this statement on the disparate impact within our predominantly Black and Brown community. As you know, as Atlantic City is an estimated population of 38,000, predominantly comprised of hardworking individuals from Black and Brown communities, immigrant communities. Based on the latest census, 30.4% are African American, 33.4% Latino, and as you probably all know. In my neighborhood block of Ducktown, I've observed with deep concern that 3 dispensaries are conditionally approved. So that's 3 within a block. This rapid proliferation, coupled with our city's socioeconomic vulnerabilities, raises questions about the disparate impact on our communities. While my intent is to bring attention to these concerns, I recognize the importance of acknowledging diverse perspectives on cannabis approval and its impact of quality of life. It's crucial to convey that this is not an opposition to the cannabis industry, but a plea for empathy and understanding. Our city's challenges are multifaceted, and I believe it's essential to respect the views of those who support cannabis businesses while advocating for the well-being of our community. This potential disparate impact becomes even more significant when considering that other cities may not share the same demographic composition and socioeconomic challenges faced by Atlantic City. I understand the CRC's mandate to regulate and approve licenses for New Jersey cannabis industry. However, I implore the Commission to carefully consider the disparate impact on our communities in Atlantic City. While the economic opportunities associated with cannabis may be attractive, we cannot ignore the potential exacerbation of existing challenges and the disparate effects on a city predominantly made of minority populations. In conclusion, I respectfully urge the Commission to reconsider conditional approvals and further approvals, taking into account the disparate impact of our communities in Atlantic City, and to work together with the community to safeguard the integrity of our community, prioritize the well-being of our residents, and really many who cannot really speak and take time out of work, because most of us work in casinos during the day, don't have time to spend 2 hours on a Zoom or go to the actual in-person meeting. So I speak on behalf of those people and ensure that Atlantic City continues to be a treasured destination for generations to come. Thank you so much for your
Thank you. The next 3 on the list are Samuel Reichbart, Molly Hartman Lustig, and Thomas Ginefra. Okay, I see Samuel Reichbart.
Hi, how are you guys doing today? I had a couple of comments to make. I apologize if this is a little bit long-winded. So I understand it's not your guys' jurisdiction to regulate homegrown in New Jersey. We've been working really hard and making really significant progress on that. I urge anyone in New Jersey that stands with patients to contact Nicholas Gutari about that homegrown bill, especially if you're in District 22. To piggyback on that issue, we believe another key aspect to providing for medical patients is a caregiver license or some kind of nano license, so that we can ensure patients with highly specific needs and an inability to cultivate their own medicine to be able to access the life-saving medicine they require. They would not only provide much needed access to medical varieties for patients, but also a path for people who would like to enter the legal industry but lack the funds to begin a 2,500 square foot facility, which, by the way, is not a small space. Allowing for nano caregiver licenses and facilities that range from 100 to 1,000 square feet to be licensed to grow would close a current gap in access to medicine for patients, as well as access to the market for those with an entrepreneurial spirit and lack of the millions needed to grow cannabis under the current regulations. On top of that, I would really like to see you guys work a little bit quicker on, or maybe just prioritizing the applicants that are in the social equity, were social equity applicants, going off of what Charles Barker said. We've seen them get conditional licenses, but not be moved forward to the annual category. So any data that we currently have is a misrepresentation of where the current industry is at. I would really like to see those people prioritized in the application process, because I remember I don't know how many other people do, and I don't know if you guys do, but I remember when we first legalized and we were told that the social equity people would be the first ones to adult use. And now here we are 3 years later, and the first people licensed to adult use were the same MSOs that have been putting poison into patients for years now with moldy medicine and subpar quality products. It's really, really upsetting to watch these people continue to be brushed to the side, and for the regulations to be taking as long as they do, putting people like Buttercake, who has been very supportive of patients, putting her business and her life, in a worse position than they could, simply by, these things taking a little less time than they had been. Yeah, thank you guys for your time. I hope you have a great day.
Molly Hartman Lustig.
Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Molly Hartman Lustig. I'm a partner at McLaughlin and Stern. I thank you for all the information provided today, and some of the approvals are very much appreciated as they waited a long time. Just a few things I'd like to run down a list. Number one, we are really looking for administrative rules for A4151. Or commonly referred to as the 35% ownership bill, which was passed earlier last year. This has extensive impact for how minority retail licenses are held, and the interplay for management services contractors who are providing significant technical assistance. That dovetails into the implications for a vertically integrated held license as well. So we'd really like to see some rulemaking there to clarify that relationship. And then building on that, there is a proliferation of management services operators who are skirting the rules regarding ownership of licenses. And I implore the CRC to really look into this during the probity review and investigation processes. I would also ask the CRC to the extent that it has enforcement powers to crack down on the illicit market. This is having a great effect on those operators who have recently opened. And we're not talking about those who are making the legacy to legal jump. We are talking about those who have not been licensed and taking as much of a stance and intercession as, if you will, into the local zoning schemes. I know we have New Jersey, we have home rule here in New Jersey, but as many others who have come before me have said, these restrictive zoning schemes do not make these businesses profitable, and sustainability is sort of a secondary consideration when businesses are forced to be on top of one another, or they're competing with illicit businesses that are not being cracked down upon. Investigations, it would be helpful, and I understand that, there are confidentiality rules. It would be helpful for the outcome of an investigation to be provided to not only the complainant, but the subject of the complaint, so that they know an investigation has occurred and closed as a means of closure. And finally, I would love to see the social equity data was great, but I'd love to see a breakdown between geographically socioeconomic versus justice touched individuals. Thank you so much.
The next three on the list are Carlos Almanzar, Jarrett Ciora, and Robert Suiters. I see Carlos Almanzar.
Good afternoon.
Carlos?
Carlos? Yes, sir.
We can barely hear you.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
It's very low. It's like almost non-existent.
So my name is Carlos Almanzar. I live in Jersey Shore, Townsville, New Jersey. My family and I, we apply in our hometown of South Towns River to be the first female minority-owned dispensary. I have called everyone and their mother, from the FBI to the district attorney to the governor, to explain the corruption and the backdoor deal that was done in my hometown. Why my family and I now are affected to where I have lost everything, businesses, family member, to this tragedy where backdoor deals were done from the previous administration. Now we have all these dispensary approved and these manufacturer approved in my hometown, where none of them live in my hometown. All of them never done anything for my community. I have the support of pastors, the support of some of the most important people in our community, and no one is investigating these people. I don't know what to do no more. I've been trying my best to, do everything the right way, but it's like these people are not getting stopped. I put my life on the line when I was a youth, to make this. And now everything is getting robbed from my family, and I can't even do anything about it. And no one is standing up to this corruption. Look at my friend Danny from Butt Hub. He got 5 years. While at the same time in his case, there was a young lady selling their kids. They got 5 years probation. When Danny takes the medication to all these old people, then he picks the homeless up from my hometown, from Butt Hub. So people like Danny, like we are getting discriminated. We getting back at the line, and all these guys, all these MSOs are coming with a golden spoon. Please, look what happened in South Towns River. Look what happened to my family, the first female minority in Ocean County. We need to start investigating all these dispensaries to see all the corruption as well. And please look at my case, because it's been a year and I've been calling everyone, you guys, the governor, everyone. And everybody's getting rich while my family's suffering. So I beg you guys, please allow me to sit down and point out all the backdoor deals. I have witnesses, I have proof of paperwork, I have everything you guys need to close all these dispensaries that are illegally open, that broke every rule of New Jersey and discrimination. So please, guys, help me. I'm in Towns River, New Jersey, South Towns River, New Jersey, in the Jersey Shore. Thank you and have a wonderful day, guys.
Carlos, we heard we heard everything. Just if you can, please submit your comments in writing, just because it was so low. So we just didn't want anything to get missed. So please submit your comments in writing when you can. Thank you. The next three are Michael Bajuz, David Little, and David Fetter. Okay, I see Michael Bajuz. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly.
Bayuz.
Bayuz.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, members of the CRC. Hope you're doing well today. My name is Michael Bayuz. I am the CEO and co-founder of Green Knight Cannabis, LLC. We are based in Franklin Township in Somerset, run by Rutgers, New Brunswick. We were awarded an annual license last April, and I'm already working with Director McWhite since I am a disabled veteran. And we just been encountering roadblock after roadblock after roadblock with our township. Since we got the annual license, we already had all the permits, resolutions, etc. We're just trying to make our place a little bit more ADA compliant, extend our building by a few feet, nothing big, no major renovations. Each time we resubmitted a plan to our township, they took a couple of weeks to get back to us. We corrected their mistake. We resubmitted a couple more weeks, another mistake, a different mistake. So each time we resubmitted something, another mistake popped up. Instead of having all the mistakes presented at once, we were delayed by, what is it now, 7 months, 8 months, and we still have not received all our building permits, even though it's been almost a year. We hope that we'll receive all the final permits in the next 2 or 3 weeks so we can begin construction and we can start serving our community. Second point that I'd like to mention is I know that as a disabled veteran and as an immigrant, we're all from New Jersey. My entire team is New Jersey based. None of us are from Colorado. None of us are from New York, California. We're all local. I just want to ask if the CRC can also clarify on the amount of disabled veteran-owned businesses. I know one of the presentations today, it included that women and disabled veteran-owned businesses, there were like 250 or something like that. But on another slide, they said that disabled-owned business, there's only 1 or 2 open. So if you can also, Director Barker, whoever asked, I'd like a clarification. If you can also clarify and don't couple this women and disabled-owned businesses together, if you could do it separately, that'd be awesome. And I can't wait to work with Director McWhite on better inclusion of disabled-owned businesses, disabled veteran-owned businesses. And of course, if you guys, anyone that can follow our journey, Sir Michael Green on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Facebook, we'll keep you up with our journey, and hopefully we can get these permits locked in so we can start building. I wish the CRC a great day and happy, stay warm. It's freezing outside.
Next, I see David Little.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, it's very coincidental. You heard from Martha Figueroa, and you also just heard from Aaron Gore and myself from 3 different directions, but have the same problem with the CRC. So I'll be the third one, ladies, but I won't be the charm. Thank you for the opportunity to speak directly to the commissioners and the directors. I represent Inclusion Gourmet, a Class 2 that was awarded license M192 6 months ago. I was passed by your group. Inclusion Gourmet is an experienced affiliate of a confectionery design, production, and fulfillment company operating in the same facility since 1998. Our specialty is infusing nutraceuticals into confectionery delivery systems, as we have done that for multiple leading nutraceutical companies around the world. Our facility is FDA, FSMA registered, GMP certified, which is a term you guys talk about a lot. And for 30 years, we've been inspected by the New Jersey Health Department on behalf of the FDA, never having received anything but a passing grade. My main reason for my discussion today is I'm showing my frustrations, as my previous 2 lady friends have done. I've now run out 6 months since I was approved. Unlike what Commissioner Brown said before, I could have operated the next day. I've been in business for 25 years. I make products here. I don't need to do a lot of crazy things and fill out a facility. During our multiple contacts with the CRC and after our October 24th product submissions, we brought to the attention that our packaging was half approved and half not approved. Since October, we have also had no feedback on our formulations submitted for multiple products, except a request from our inspector to resubmit a different format, which was quite frankly ridiculous. After a total period of almost 90 days, it's extremely frustrating to have a license in hand and then still not have the ability to manufacture because our product and packaging waivers have been under review. Meanwhile, another large operator was given permission by the CRC to sell edible products within weeks of submitting waivers when their period opened in September of 23. Additionally, they've been given 2 more. I'd like to know how I can get their inspector on my team and why they're giving special preferences. They're much larger. They're not a micro. We are a micro. We're born and bred in New Jersey, but we feel our type of business is not being given the share of mind that larger ones are, nor are the communications or actions showing a clear resolve to help small businesses like ours. Executive Director Brown, you may recall our in-person conversation on December 7th. Please follow up and give us permission as soon as possible. Thank you.
The next group is Ryan Suskind and Bruce Roach. if you're in the meeting, please raise your hand so I can call on you. I'm also going to go over the names of people that I called that didn't get a chance. John de los Santos, Dab Riga. I see Dab Riga.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dab Riga, and I am the CEO and founder of Tlehol Incorporated. Our conversion to annual was approved today, so thank you very much to the commission for that. We just wanted to take a moment here to say that Tlehol is in support of the home grow provisions that are currently being proposed in the assembly. And just want to say that honestly, we're just happy that we have what we have now, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is, if you're in the room, Una Sun, Thomas Ginefra, Jarrett Ciora, Robert Suiters, David Fetter, Ryan Suskind, and Bruce Roach. I don't see anyone else on the list. So Chairwoman Wainu, this will conclude the registered speakers we have for today's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Said, and thank you to all of those who spoke to share their thoughts, their suggestions, their requests, and provide additional information for the CRC to look into. Again, if you didn't get a chance to speak today, you can provide written comments to the commission by going to our website, nj.gov/cannabis/meetings by 5:00 p.m. tomorrow, January 18th. This concludes the business that we have before us today. Is there any new business for the board to consider at this time? If there is none, then I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn today's meeting.
Moved by Commissioner Barker. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Is there any discussion on this motion to adjourn? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of adjourning say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. The time is 2:22 and we are adjourned. Thank you everyone for your time and have a great evening.